Hello, Scorpio. I'm Ulrich. I'm a Normand card reader, and today we will do your financial card reading for the month of April. These cards are advisors. They suggest how you can save money if you have certain habits in your life, and these habits are negative, how to change them, or these habits, how these habits influence your budget. Anyway, Scorpio, we will see where this leads for you for the month of April. We will immediately go over it. So, Scorpio, here I go for your financial card reading for the month of April. Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to your financial card reading for the month of April. As your first card here, we see the card of our mensualities or our monthly payments here. We all have them. Each household has small bills, telephone, internet services, insurances, magazine subscriptions. These are recurrent and systematic payments, and most of us, we don't pay attention to these small payments. But this card tells us also that a large proportion of people don't even know, or we know that we don't even notice when they increase, even that if there are big increases on these systematic payments. So here this card asks you, did you notice if certain of your invoices have been slightly or even had a big increase here without your consent? Most of us, when we go for certain subscriptions, we sign in during a promo, but after, of course, this promo period, most of these firms in all over the world, they have the right to adjust your promo into a regular system, and this is what this card is about. We, as an informed consumer, we should receive notice about this, but mostly it's in the fine print that they don't need to send us any fine print, so they just adjust your system here. So this card tells you to keep track of expirations of promos here. If you see that certain things are changed in your payments, call, for instance, your internet company and see if you can get back your old advantages, your old discounts. This is what we are seeing here. Sometimes also it's about insurances, this card. If it's a long time that you controlled your insurance portfolio, maybe some changes needed there, you could seek advice of a broker. This points also to that. Or sometimes also it's about bank accounts. We all have bank accounts, or at least most of us have bank accounts. Sometimes also this is about internet banking. A lot of us now go for internet banking. Why? Well, in general, we choose for internet banking because it's cheaper and it's more easy, and we don't need to replace ourselves. But sometimes also this card is about going 100% internet banking, meaning we choose an option that we no longer have a physical bank. Why do people that? Well, for the simple reason that internet banks are very cheap. They have very few expenses. Mostly you pay very few. You don't need to be a magician to save $1,000 to $2,000 a year with these internet banks. And of course, I hear your question already. Yeah, but is this whole thing safe? Well, if you play a little bit for police officers for a few hours and you check out, then you will soon see how these banks exactly are connected to certain banks. Mostly they are connected to very big banks, but under a different name. So if you do a little bit of research and you are worried about that, you can find that out. A lot of people now these days go for internet banking because it's so cheap and it's easy. So this is also what this card is about. Anyway, we should check here our financial periodicals. This is very important that we do so. And if you amount this all up, all these small expenses a little bit here and there, you will be surprised in 1 year what you save. And this is what this card is about, for saving amounts of money, for enjoying yourself more in life, for making some savings. This is what this card is about. If you don't need to spend it, you can save it. The next card is the card of balance that we are seeing here. It's also the card of promotions. Maybe you're expecting certain promotions in your work or an increase in salary. This is the card that is about that here. There's probably there are possibilities for progression financially in your life here, and probably if you want to come in a better position, maybe you are not very happy with your salary, you want more increase of salary, but this is also the card that tells us that an increase in salary not necessarily would do us the greatest good. If you think this is the solution to my problems, this card tells us not to be so sure of that. Regardless of what you earn, your monthly, your annual salary, what really improves your financial condition is your ability to adjust your expenses to what your income is. So an increase in salary, it will have no positive effect if you proportionally increase the expenses, which unfortunately for most people is often the case. On the other hand, if you have full authority and control over your expenses, it means that you have learned to limit yourself, and of course then there is improvement. So here we are asked if this is not the case to invest your efforts in order to get a better management in your daily expenses in relationship to your earnings. And if you have this whole thing balanced out under control, then you can focus on the increase on your salary. It doesn't mean, of course, that you don't need to be ambitious. This has nothing to do with it, but it's about making the balance of your salary. Anyway, if you do so, if you balance things out, you will have a better chance, overall chance of improving your overall situation. The last card that we are seeing here is the cards of gifts. It's a card of celebrations. Maybe not so long ago during holidays or certain events, or maybe a holiday, or maybe there was a birthday from somebody. There were some expenses that you made. Maybe you give some gifts. Anyway, for giving an example here, most of us, we spend a lot during Christmas, Valentine also, and maybe during the period of Valentine, you spend a little bit too much. This is not that you cannot buy a box of chocolate for your loved ones, or you cannot buy some perfumes or some aftershave. This is not what this card is about. But the problem with this card is that society has lost the very reason what constitutes the basis of these festivals. It doesn't matter if you're religious or not, or whatever your spirituality or your religion is. It's about the influence that that publicity has on up. And for instance, like Christmas and Valentine, they gradually changed their status from a celebration into something of abundance. And these times like Christmas and Valentine, we forget all our financial goodwill. We don't budget if we're in the store, and we overindulge, mostly with a good heart, but the expenses sometimes become too much. And of course, then in the months that follow, or the next month, we have the invoices that arrive. And for some of us, this could be a horror. Maybe you spend a little bit too much and some invoices are arrived here. Maybe that this is where this card is here. Anyway, this card tells us maybe you should learn about the origin of these festivals. What is the origin of Christmas, Easter, Valentine? And it's more easy than to put them in their real context. It doesn't matter if you're spiritual or religious or not, but if you put them in their historical context, you will see things in a different way, and overconsumption will be less the point here. So don't be fooled by advertising, because of course companies, they try to influence you. That's what their business is. They market you, and especially during these holidays. So this card tells us these gifts are meant to be an expression of feelings. It's not about quantity or buying a lot or prices or expensive. What comes first is your feelings here. So sometimes here with this card, it tells us also that we actually should give them or buy them the most expensive gift of all. And I know you're all listening now. The most expensive gift of all is time. So if you give time and you spend time with your loved ones in general, this is the most highly appreciated gift that you can give them, and it won't cost you nothing. And also it will improve your relationships with your loved ones. So Scorpio, this is all for this month. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical financial card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If you're interested in the classic Lenormand card readings for getting an overview for the month to come, this is a general reading, but mostly they follow a certain path, and very soon we see what is going on for Scorpio in the month to come with the Lenormand. And of course, you have also the spiritual philosophical card readings. They are more like a kind of guides. Spirituality is in the cards, and they give advice for going in certain directions in your life, what we need to do, what we don't need to do. So you can check it out. The tree you can put together like a puzzle, and you get a good overview for the month to come. So Scorpio, this is all for this month. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye for now.